So you start to calm down, you start to compose, you start to kind of analyze and recognize you've been here before. What goes on?
Once that happened, once I calmed down, what had been shut off had shut back on, which was
Turn back on, right?
shut back. Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Turn back on, which was my frontal lobe. My brain started working again, and I started thinking, okay, what's not working? Okay, let's strike through that. Let's strike it. We're not doing that ever again. It doesn't work, and I had to come up with a creative solution for what could work. So I had to think, what are my resources? What can I use? Okay, putting the poles this way doesn't work. They're just going to sink in because the surface area is small. One thing we learn in jiu-jitsu, ironically, is how to throw somebody, the judo component. And the one of the keys is you have to get them on their toes. Why? Because it reduces the surface area to a dime,
That's
right?
right.
So that's what I had. I had a dime's worth of surface area with my poles. And well, I mean, there's a cone part around it, but the very
Yeah,
tip of
yeah.
it's
It's going to go through the
it's
snow
just going to
anyway,
go
right?
through the
It's a
snow anyway.
spike.
It's a spike. So I realized that wasn't working. So how can I use it? Okay, Michael, what do you have to do? You have to increase surface area, right? First, stop sinking. Stop flailing so you stop sinking. Second of all, increase surface area so that you can prevent it from sinking as much as possible.
Disperse your weight.
Yes, you
Yeah.
couldn't fully prevent from sinking, but you could reduce it. That's what I realized. So I took the poles and I flattened them. I turned them horizontal on each side because they were still above the snow, and I was able to use them as a dip bar. They would compress into the snow, but the snow under it, because of all the surface area, would start becoming more dense. So I got my footing. I got my footing, right? And I was able to wiggle my hips out and start pressing out. And, because I've been strength training, I was able to like rip my leg out with the ski still on it from that depth of snow, which was probably feet down, like 4 feet down. I was able to, or 3 or 4 feet down, I was able to rip it out. And finally, I had both legs free and I had all the surface area to work with. And I was like, okay, what do I not do next? Stand up. Don't stand up. I had done that already, and all it did was lead me to here. Don't stand up. Okay, Michael, you have two poles and two skis. What else can you do to increase surface area? Because it registered, right, Shihan? Surface
Starting
area.
to work,
It's
though.
working.
Right.
The surface area is working. That's
Right.
the key. I
Right.
realized that was the key. So I knew if I stood up again, I would end up in the same situation. I could not stand up. Uh, I just had to get to a flat surface, flat-ish surface with enough condensed snow where I could clip my skis back on to get the fuck off this mountain, right? So I took one ski and the other, and I did the same exact thing that I did with the poles, but this time because the skis are wider, especially powder skis, specifically for powder, and I was renting them. They come wider because it helps you ski on powder. I learned that after, not before. But I did the same thing. I put them next to me side by side, and I felt really secure then, right? Because I was like, instead of just these little thin poles, now I have all this surface area, and it's designed to stay afloat, right? I ended up using it as kind of a raft, and I thought to myself, how can I get more surface area? Let me get as stable as possible. So I kind of extended my legs and I sat like this with the skis and the poles. Now I had all the surface area under my hamstring,
Calf.
my calves, my glutes. I had on both sides. I had the surface area here. Now I was finally in control. I wasn't sinking anymore. And all of this was from thinking through a solution and trying to. I wasn't even trying to be creative. I was just trying to survive, and that's what came out of it, right? So I realized I couldn't get up, but I had to go down. So what's next, right? Well, how the fuck do you make distance? How do you get further along the mountain, right? Without getting up? I realized I had to kind of tuck my heels this way with my big snow boots and just
Oh,
inch myself forward while
uh-huh.
using the skis on each side as a float and maintaining as much surface area as possible.
Uh-huh.
In that way, no matter how tall the powder was, no matter how airy it was, I wasn't sinking so much that I couldn't keep moving forward. Yeah, I was sinking, of course, but not so much that I couldn't keep moving on or I couldn't take the skis put them back on top, press myself over the snow again, and keep the process going. And so by doing this, which was difficult because that took kind of like 15 minutes just to wrestle through that. And I was kind of fatiguing,
Of
but
course.
I was fatiguing in the right way, or rather for the right reasons, right? The fatiguing wasn't panic anymore. The fatiguing was work toward a viable solution that would get me out of the situation. And that's the worthwhile kind of fatiguing. That's the kind of fatiguing I really like now.
Yeah.
So using that process repetitively over and over, I finally got myself to a place where the snow was hard enough to clip the skis in, and I got back on my feet. But at that point, I was no longer thinking, Shihan, I'm gonna pizza my way down. I'm gonna break my way down. No, I was thinking as soon as I clip these fucking skis on, I'm putting them together. I'm going straight down this mountain. I gotta get the fuck off this mountain, and I did. I did. I got down. I got down. I survived.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
I
Well,
I
I think you did a lot more than survive, but go ahead.
I told my wife about what happened, and she wasn't expecting that. She thought I was out there for an hour because I was just doing multiple trails, and I really had been out there for an hour because I was fighting so I could see her again, so I could, I don't know, not to be dramatic, but live on
Yeah,
another
of
day.
course.
I end up at later on. I fly back from Japan. I mean, a lot of things happen. I mean, my wife was like,
Let me ask a
yeah,
question at this juncture.
sure.
So what are like what if you could sum up like 3 or 4 peak lessons that you got from this experience? I mean, you said so much and there's so like it's not many times I don't interrupt folks, but like that was just so powerful and so filled with lessons, martial arts and life. Uh
Sure, I'll answer that, and then there's one more detail. I'll just
go
do that after.
okay. You
Yeah,
want to share the detail first?
yeah, if you don't
Go
mind,
ahead.
that'll be
I
cool.
don't mind.
So, my cousin's a doctor, and his wife is a nurse practitioner, and she's from Canada, and they have a big skiing culture there, and in Canada, like Japan, it's powder, unlike the East Coast. We were at a family dinner, and I was
In Japan,
oh, no, this was
back home.
back in the States, back home
Gotcha.
in Brooklyn,
Gotcha.
and I was just telling them what had happened because they my wife had mentioned that, oh, you wouldn't believe and she told me, she was like, that's a serious thing. Like, that's a real thing. Every single year someone dies from asphyxiation because they get themselves in that exact situation. This wasn't like,
100%.
yeah, this wasn't a hypo. This wasn't oh, this
You
could have
didn't make a
happened.
bigger deal out of it. No,
No,
no.
no, it happens every year.
Yeah.
Someone gets stuck in it, and they lose their orientation. They don't know what's up or down or left or right, and they try to breathe. The body tries to breathe, and instead you get snow, and you asphyxiate, you suffocate, and you just die. And you can't climb out of it. You don't know what's up from down, and the more that you wrestle, like I did, the more you sink. You're just stuck with no grip on anything.
Quicksand.
Quicksand. It's
Quicksand.
quicksand.
It's
It's
quicksand.
the functional equivalent of icy quicksand. There's one more detail. There was a tree not far, and I had thought to myself, let me get to this tree. Let me inch my way to this tree and maybe grab a hold of it so that I could, or try to ski to it,
Feel safe.
so I could feel safe, so I could grip something that's not airy powder, that it's like air. And thank God I didn't listen to that instinct, because or that idea that I had, or I'm glad that I decided not to do that. And because what my cousin's wife told me was that would have been one of the probably the worst thing I could have done. And she explained it to me, the physics of it. Trees are kind of they go down into the earth, and then they
Oh.
sort of well.
Oh, yeah.
They well like this. It's
Yeah.
it's not like an L.
Yeah.
It's a U.
You would
So
have sunk deeper.
I would have sunk. I would have sunk even deeper. It's even more airy. It's even more like quicksand because it's untouched completely. It's not even on a trail where you have some people on snowboards and skis, right? It's completely untouched, and it's welled like a U. It's like a deep
Whoa.
diving pool. So had I gone there, I would have just went straight down, and that probably would have been the end. Like,
Wow.
so I just wanted to share
Yeah. Important
those two
details.
important details. So to answer your question, what did I learn, right?
So
What are the
you
lessons?
come up to me and you go, I got this story. And then you kind of you tell me the story, but you also tell me what you learned.
Yeah.
And that's what's motivating the question.
Yeah, and I remember you kinda teared up too. You were like, "Holy shit," because
I,
you felt the empathy of, you
but
were
also,
picturing. Yeah.
you know, you're in my life, man. I love you.
Thank you.
And I was happy that you were alive. I was really present that you were back.
Yeah, in
That
that
you didn't
moment.
fucking die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
It
yeah, I
was
got very,
yeah, you felt it.
of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel it right now.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a mistake I don't think I'll ever be repeating.
That's one way to look at it. I mean, certainly.
So and then we can kind of segue into the lessons
Yeah.
because why won't I be repeating it? What lessons did I
Yeah.
learn from it, right? Which is what you asked. I realized first of all, not first of all, not in any particular order, but I realized many things. One thing I realized, which then informed my practice of jujitsu completely, changed it completely. The way that I see jujitsu now is not like I've ever seen it. I mean, I know I'm kind of a new practitioner, but it doesn't matter. I
You
practiced
fast tracked for sure.
and I practice through a certain lens now. I learned the essence of jujitsu. Do you remember how many times I would come up to you and I would try to understand what it is? What's jujitsu? Wh- What's the purpose? Um, you know, I was trying to get it, right? And I fucking got it. I
Yeah.
got it. The essence of jujitsu is to increase the probability of survival. That's the essence of jujitsu, at least for me, right? I realized that by imploring the mechanisms or the teachings of jujitsu, I mean, and I wasn't fighting a person, but I was fighting Earth. I was fighting
Mother
something.
Nature,
I
bro.
was fighting Mother Nature. That's way fucking scarier than a
then
person.
then a 250-pound
Oh, it's
guy,
way
right?
fucking
Yeah, yeah,
scarier.
sure.
It's way so that one thing I learned is the essence of jujitsu, and the essence of jujitsu is learning ways to increase the probability of your survival. You cannot guarantee it, right? In fact, death you can guarantee, which means that survival you can't,
Right.
right?
Right.
It's about the only thing that's guaranteed, and so that was one lesson, right? That jujitsu is about increasing the odds of survival. And it even framed the way that I see submissions.
Right.
I don't see submissions as winning anymore. I don't see submissions as, um, um, I don't know, superiority or ego. I see putting someone into a submission as the safest fucking place that you can be in a scrap. It's even safer than control,
Yeah.
right? You can control someone and then you can get them in a choke, and that's the safest place you'll be.
Yeah. We
So
talk about that.
yeah. S- so jujitsu. I mean, the way I even see submissions now is the essence of jujitsu, just trying to get you to the safest place to increase the odds as much as possible of your survival. I don't just think about training in the dojo anymore. I think about, well, what if I'm in a life or death situation, which I was, and maybe this time it's with a person. What's the point of all this? What's the point of jujitsu? It's to get you to the safest place possible, to increase your odds of surviving as much as possible. So that's how I see it. That was one of the things I learned, and I have some comments on that, but some more things I learned. You can't panic. You can't be scared. It does not serve you. Fear is useful. It is useful before you get into that situation, a life or death situation. It's useful as fuck because it'll steer you away from it, right? But once you're in it, you have to discard it. You have to. It does not serve you. It will hinder you. It will decrease your odds. And for me, when I was in that situation, all I was thinking about was, how do I increase the chances of survival? Increase 1%. I'll take anything. I'll take anything. And fear was not going to give me anything, not even
It's gonna
1%.
take it away
It
from
was
you.
going to take it away from me. So I had to discard it.
Yeah.
And that became helpful in my practice too, my jujitsu practice, because I started discarding it at the dojo. I mean, we rolled one time, and you even said, I can tell your experience with the snow, and it informs your rolling. Because you saw I was controlling my breathing. I wasn't even thinking. My ego had not that time we rolled. When you said that, my ego wasn't even existent. All I was thinking about was, what do I do next? How do I find the solution? How do I survive? Right? You felt no ego from me. You felt no muscling from me. You felt no lack of efficiency, because you have to be efficient when you're trying to survive, right? So that's another thing, efficiency, which is a core concept of jujitsu, being efficient as possible so you don't gas out. I realized that efficiency is essential, for progress and for success when you're in a highly pressurized, dangerous situation. And I think that's applicable even if it's not dangerous. You know, um,
100%.
to be able to relax under immense pressure, enormous pressure, to be able to find your footing, right? And to be open to any possible option that you can use, anything that you can use to get yourself into a better situation, right?
Do you think when you were looking back in the snow that ideas were arriving to you, that you became open to them? You said your frontal lobe.
I
So I'm guessing you never thought about this situation prior, right?
No.
And so you're getting ideas because you were able to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was searching for ideas. I had made a decision. When I survive, I will survive. And then after that, naturally came the how. Well, how the fuck are you going to do that?
right.
So I was looking, I was analyzing, thinking, what can I do? How can I be resourceful? And they were coming. I
Yeah,
started thinking, oh, what didn't work? Okay, so fuck that. We're not doing that
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
And then I tried this and I tried that, and eventually I found what worked. And I mean, that's kind of jujitsu too, because like one cool thing I learned about jujitsu that I didn't know is you could fucking do anything. You could take someone's belt and choke them with it. I
yeah,
mean, you can be as resourceful as you can be.
yeah.
You could choke people with their clothes, their gi,
Strangle them. Yeah,
strangle them.
yeah.
You can escape with just
Your
your
big toe.
your big toe by stapling a foot. Y- It's all about resourcefulness and
Yeah,
efficiency.
yeah.
And that's what I had to be in that situation. So when I'm in the dojo now, just as like a one thing here, when I'm in the dojo now, I really try hard not to compete with anyone, not to get my competitive nature to get the best of me or my ego. And the way I see it now is, these people are helping me. Either they're exposing weaknesses, which
Right,
I can then later learn from and
right.
and resolve, or they're outright teaching me so that when I go out there in the real world,
Yep,
I have more tools to survive. They're not my competitors.
that's right. Well, I mean, it's our methodology. Certainly, it's our methodology of how to do it.
Right.
And I just I don't want to say I like from the perspective of I told you so, but those were the things we were advocating for you from day one. You know,
Right. Yeah.
just so interesting. Like, so before I ask a couple more questions, so is there one more kind of major principled lesson you get here, or is that really not that there needs to be, but I heard you say like you're never going to do that again. But then after that, do you go like, oh, like we were talking about how we need to walk the line. Like some of us have to walk the line, right? So I'm assuming you find your edge in this way. I'm assuming that like you learn a lot about, how to deal with problem solving. Is there another thing that's kind of, I'm just probing, Michael.
Yeah. Shihan, I carry it with me. I take it with me. That lesson,
Yeah.
because I was given an opportunity to live, and
How do you see life now? Maybe that's a good question.
I mean, well, I've always kind of viewed, well, this is like a can of worms, but that wasn't my first life or death situation.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I've always,
That one in the ocean for me was not my first or last either. I
yeah.
get that. Though, is there
Yeah. So I don't know if there's a larger principled lesson, but this is something I carry with me now, but it's not baggage. I'm grateful that I survived and I'm happy about what I learned. Now when I find myself in difficult situations, I think, okay, obviously I have to calm down and I have to use my mind. I have to find a solution, an analytical or practical solution, and try that.
Mhm.
And most importantly, when I'm under pressure, no matter what it is, whether it's work or a highly experienced practitioner at the dojo shutting me down completely to the point of where I can't do anything, that I can't panic. And I think that's really important because once you stop panicking, you're opened up to the possibilities. They, like you said, they flow in, right? And so that's a really big principled thing, I would say.
I would say too.
It's really important.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to interject. So I've been talking this week about I had a couple of jobs before I started doing an internship or an apprenticeship at the dojo at Mr. Miyazaki's, and one of them was doing flooring, carpeting, and linoleum and tiling.
Mhm.
And I was like kind of floating out there. Didn't have any direction. So I remember meeting um, a subcontractor that the carpet guy used. His name was Robert Applewhite.
Mhm.
Robert Applewhite was a uh, a military man, and uh, he was a drill sergeant. He taught young men and women how to survive in
Mhm.
combat. And he said to me, independent of any military, I cut myself with a carpet knife. And he said to me, Gene, there's no difference between a paper cut and getting stabbed. And I've been trying to use that lesson as a fundamental shift. I realize it now what he was telling me. He was talking to me about a deeper metaphysical or mental shift that must happen when you're in danger. You've got, and I heard it in the story. It's like
Yes.
you consciously said to yourself, you flipped it on its head and you
Subvert
said,
it.
"Yep,
You have to
you
subvert it
have to subvert it."
consciously.
Yep.
You have to do it. You have to consciously discard the fear.
And like people in the dojo this week, they couldn't understand it. They didn't, and I wasn't real. Maybe I really wasn't communicating it well, though. That's what I was kind of getting at. Is like you have to subvert it. You have to awaken to the possibility that there's another way, even if you're stabbed, even if you've and
Yes.
and I really love that about your story. I think it points to something very deep and very it can be very difficult. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to have the conversation out.
It's so important. Like, there's even this book about kind of the Holocaust and surviving. And one of the morals is
Man's search for meaning,
the
right?
the
Yeah, yeah.
the I don't recall the name, but
Viktor
probably.
Frankl. Yeah.
So what? And so then you let me know if I'm right here. But one of the main like premise of it or point is that the ones who survived the Holocaust found a way to find meaning and hopefulness
That's right.
within that
It's
experience.
called logotherapy. It's like
Oh,
you
interesting.
you 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 assign it a meaning, therefore it and I think you did that, man.
I had to.
You had to.
I had no choice.
So
I mean, I had a choice,
you
but
had a
I didn't
choice.
like that choice.
Right, right,
I
right, right,
wasn't a
right, right, right,
fan.
right, 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 right. It must be nice.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was so mad,
Yeah,
Shihan. I
buddy,
was like,
buddy, I don't but it like if you track all of these disappointments, anger, all this stuff got you to where you needed to be to survive. And the other thing I think is really, really fascinating is that in the story that I heard you tell today, that there was an experiential shift in survival. we were joking about Hulk smash in the beginning part of our conversation,
Right.
and then you went into a kind of more intellectual idea. And it's just so interesting that, like, the knee-jerk physical response of survival, the panic, the fight or flight
Mhm.
is not
No.
it like the we were joking, right? The Hulk smash thing, and, uh, but that's kind of what was, it is a metaphor, it's a clear metaphor for it, and then for me, like, to hear you switch into what actually works in real survival, which
Yeah.
is you said frontal lobe, your I think it's your superconscious mind, and it's why I probed the question, like, when you started to relax, then you get the ideas necessary for you to take the next step, which gives you the next step. And I heard you say, like, the first it was the pole, and then it was the ski, and then it was,
The inching
crawling, the
forward.
inching forward. And each one of those successions, each one of those next ideas, because you're open and you're not letting the Hulk smash part of your brain
Lead.
override your
Yes.
lens,
Absolutely.
override your receptiveness.
Absolutely.
And then I loved the way it relates so well to your everyday practice of jujitsu. Like, we have an access point to practice that day in, day in, day out, and be a kind of receiver of all that beautiful information. So, so powerful.
It really ties in. I mean, another thing because like we said earlier, I like to be around that line, that thin
You
line.
have to, some of us have to be, certainly.
And jujitsu allows me to, like, I'm often put, because I'm new, I'm often put into positions where I feel like I'm right there again. Like,
I
okay,
wonder to myself if that's why you don't carry it as like a PTSD. I wonder to myself if you're not consciously or unconsciously working out the details of that,
in
so
class.
it doesn't it's not like some sort of now integrated fear in your body. Like,
I really thought, well, I guess I technically am a survivor. I was gonna say I'd like to think I'm a survivor. I'm like, oh no, I
you
mean,
are.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of the mindset of surviving is being above that very thing which threatens you. I don't want to get under it. Um, you know,
Beautiful.
I don't want to get under it. I want to be above it. And I can't think like I'm terrified now. I'm defeated now. I can't think that. I can't go about the rest of my limited life carrying that weight and coming off like that to others, because we're all influential too, like people, like, people don't know how powerful.
That's why coming on the podcast, God bless your wife, but I don't think is a stupid
I didn't think so either, yeah.
yeah, because
And
we do have impact on others.
exactly.
Absolutely.
And so I just refuse to allow myself to be so controlled by that experience that I then start to affect myself and the others around me in a negative, more pessimistic or fear based way. I don't want to do that. I don't want to live my life like that. I don't want to be that person. So it's about controlling your perspective. And my perspective now after that is more like, holy shit, I learned a lot of really useful things. And I actually acquired confidence. I'm like, wow, I can survive shit. Like, I can live on even when death's at my doorstep. I
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the impression it had on me. I mean, of course, like, I went skiing again after that, and I kept telling my friends, I don't know if I'm gonna have PTSD, if I'm gonna stand at the top of a trail and freak the fuck out. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna know until I'm in that situation again. And I surprisingly did not have much anxiety.
Very good.
And I mean, I think part of it's because the next time I skied was in the East Coast and it was ice again,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
powder.
Was
I don't
you
know.
got to get back on that
I
horse,
gotta get,
though.
yeah, and so I don't know how I'll respond when I'm in kind of like a powder snow conditions, but I have confidence though that
Yeah.
I already know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know what not to do. Don't go
Well,
toward the trees.
I think, well, if I may,
Sure.
and we'll stop it here, is I think you understand that the right answers will come if you're in the right space.
It can't happen otherwise. If you're panicking, of course you're right. Because if you're panicking, you don't have any space for any answers. All you have is you're in a rush. You're in a rush. It's a fast track. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do everything and nothing. I mean, there's no space for
Yeah.
anything else besides the panic. So yes, of course, you have to create space. You have to be able to calm down, and it's your body, your animal brain will not do it for you. By the way,
That's right.
it will not. You have to do it. You have to take control of your mind when you're oppressed and when you're under immense pressure. You have to do it.
That shift, the shift of turning it on its head.
That was step one. Yeah.
Let's give Michael a nice hand. Beautiful. Wow. Well done.
Thank you for listening to the Gentle Art Podcast. Please share, rate, and review. And if you have any questions or you'd like to reach out, please contact us at the GentleArtPodcast@gmail.com or contact us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter or thegentleartpodcast.com.